Hi students, happy Wednesday. I hope you really enjoyed the lesson on Monday. So lately we've been diving into government and learning about, the rules and regulations and the different laws we have and how are they formed and who's to say what laws we have. And so Monday we really dived in and we learned that there are different levels of our government. And so one of them we learned is our local government, which is our community, Lawrenceville. And then we learned that we have a state government, which is our state as a whole, which is run by the governor. And then we have our national level, which is the president. Okay. So now what I really want to do is kind of, again, like Monday, make this lesson more personal to you and talk about where do I fit in when it comes to government. Because we're not all presidents, we may not all be governors, and we may not be mayors one day. So what is it that we can do to kind of support our local government, in our state government, in our national government? What can I do? So Miss Rockwell's a teacher, and again, I may not be the mayor, but maybe one day. But the one thing that I can do is I can be a good citizen. I can be a good citizen for the Lawrenceville community. I can be a good citizen in Georgia, and I can have good citizenship within the United States. So that's kind of what your video kind of introduced to you today is we're just going to dive in and learn about how to become a good citizen and what we can do to kind of do our part. All right, so let's kind of dive in today. All right, so the American citizen. So our country, the United States, we have 3 million citizens. A citizen is a person who is a member of a specific place. This can either be our town, it could be on our state level, or even in our country. So typically when I travel out of town, people are like, where are you from? And I can say, I'm from Georgia, because I'm referring to I'm a citizen of there. Citizens are guaranteed rights under the Constitution, again, just saying we have a voice. With these rights, however, also comes some responsibility. Just like how some of you are in your classrooms and your teacher gives you a job, you're like, oh, you're going to be the line leader. Oh, you're going to be the pencil monitor because you are a citizen of your classroom and your teacher's giving you a responsibility of kind of how to help your classroom. So responsibility is something you should do, like doing your homework, taking care of your pet, brushing your teeth, doing your digital learning work. That is how you are kind of doing your responsibility. So kind of a responsibility for a citizen works in two different directions. The government is responsible for protecting the rights of us, but we also have a responsibility of kind of being active members of the United States. So again, the President Trump, he's looking out for us. Kemp is looking out for us. But what are we doing to look out for our state level and our national level? What are we doing? What are we responsible as Americans to do? So for our country to be successful, government and citizens must both again meet our responsibilities. But what are our responsibilities that we keep talking about? Okay. So again, we talked about a citizen. You can become a citizen of the United States in two ways. The first way is either you were born here in the United States. Doesn't matter what state. We're all part of the same nation. Another way is to be a naturalized citizen, which means maybe you were born in another country and you moved over here and you applied to be a citizen. Again, a lot of times you do that a lot when you're older. So again, all citizens of America, we have the rights to the Constitution, kind of just us having a voice. So because the law guaranteed that we have basic freedom, we have the right to petition the government if we feel like there's a complaint or something that's not ethical. Kind of like we have the judicial system, and they're saying if any of our laws are unconstitutional. Well, we have a similar judicial system within the state of Georgia if we feel like our governor is not doing something that is correct. We also have the right to elect our leaders. We have the right to feel like if our leaders are not doing their job. Okay? So again, we've talked about that idea of us having responsibility. When we have responsibility for others, for example, when we have our class jobs, we must consider the impact of our actions on other students. If you come into class and you start acting up and messing with someone, that is impacting someone else's learning. So if you want to go out and do something in your community, you've got to think about, is this going to be a positive impact on the other people around me? You have the right to do certain things, but it does not always mean that you should do them. You've got to take in consideration, is this going to harm others negatively? Is this going to affect them? So we really want to keep in mind our responsibilities and our action to be citizens is the common good. Are we doing things in our community that is not just for our own interest, but it's going to be such good stuff for everyone? Because we live in this democratic society, which means we need to work together to achieve a common goal. Okay, so again, Ms. Rockwell, you've talked about the common good, responsibilities, but what is it that I can do? Just as people need to live in freedom, our country needs citizens who are going to do their jobs. Your teacher is going to want to pick people in the classroom who's going to do the job, who's going to help the classroom run, smoothly. So one of them is just to voice your opinion. A lot of times when you're in class, there's things going on that you're like, Miss Rockwell or Miss Kimball or Miss Miller or Miss Richardson or Miss Michael, this is not going well. And that's the same thing as you being an American citizen. You have the right to share your opinion, but doing so is an important responsibility. There are many citizens that share their opinion about issues or ideas. So with you going to your teacher to voice your opinion about things that may not be working smoothly, it's kind of you telling them, hey, we might need to change some things. So citizens have the freedom to express their opinions in social media. I'm sure your parents post things on Facebook. Some people write newspaper articles just telling them, like, maybe magazines of things going on in the news. Sometimes people attend marches or demonstrations, which just means they're voicing their opinion on they're for something or maybe they're against something. Sometimes people send emails. Your parents send emails to teachers if they're not sure of your grade about something or something you've turned in, because your parents have the freedom to do that. They have the freedom to voice your opinion, because sometimes things can be changed. But if nothing is said, then how are we supposed to know? So you have the freedom to voice your opinion. That is a responsibility. So again, you have the right to choose your leaders. You have the right. In November, we're going to be voting on a new president. So your parents and your relatives have the right to voice their opinion about what leader they want. So when you become 18, you have the right to register to vote. And so if you want a say in who's going to be our president, if you want to have a say in what kind of governor we're going to have, then you need to vote when you're 18. Voting allows a citizen to kind of quietly voice their opinion about our government. When citizens do not vote, it allows others to decide for them. So again, we need your opinions. As teachers, want to know your thoughts. The government wants to know, who do you want to lead you, or what's not going correct. Okay. Monitor the government. So another way citizens can be responsible is to monitor the government. We talked about having the judicial system on a national level. Well, we have a judicial system on the local and the state level. If something's not going well in the community, people are going to voice their opinion to the mayor of Lawrenceville. They're going to tell her, hey, this isn't working. Can you do something about it? If the government does anything to violate the laws, citizens will tell others and try to make changes. So citizens often work together and they act like watchdog groups. A watchdog is just a group of people that just kind of check out on the community. So again, we want to monitor that government. We want to look out for one another just to make sure we're all safe and doing everything correct. Make changes. Be responsible members of the country by making changes to the government. America's a country made up people. People are not always perfect. We probably don't always make the correct decisions, and we're always open to changing things. Your teachers are always making changes to their classrooms. If you visit your teachers that you had last year, I'm sure that they've made changes based on things that maybe did not work out or new things. For example, you're going to learn in social studies how back then kids used to work in the factories and they worked long days instead of getting an education. We learned about the colonies and how kids were working on the farms all day. Well, conditions were often dangerous for kids. And so new laws were actually written and passed that stopped this practice of kids working all day. So as times are changing and the country's growing, we're creating reforms, which is like we're reforming what we're our just society to make sure that we're being responsible with our decisions. And then you've got to obey the laws, just like your classroom in school. You've got to obey your teacher's rules. If not, everybody's going to be standing on their chairs. They're going to be running around. That's the same thing with being a citizen. Being a responsible citizen means obeying the laws, like stopping at the stop sign. Stopping at the stop sign. Making sure you don't litter. That's a law. If everybody just dropped their trash, our environment would be so dirty. Making sure to, pay your bills. Making sure to pay taxes. Again, just obeying laws. As mentioned in the previous section, unconstitutional laws should be changed. However, some laws are fair, and it's just how to keep us safe. I know there are some laws out there that we don't agree with, so they could be changed. So they need to be obeyed so everyone in our society can work and live together peacefully, because that keeps us safe from harm. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason for all the rules your teacher has in her classroom. And then you should also volunteer. So you should get out in your society. You can be responsible by volunteering in your community, helping out others. A volunteer is someone who works without getting paid. People can volunteer in many different ways. Some citizens volunteer to deliver meals to people. Others volunteer at animal shelters. Some collect clothing or food for people who need such items. Citizens are free to volunteer any area they believe is most important to them. Okay, you're not required to volunteer, but it's a good thing to do. Okay, so being an American citizen is a great privilege. Citizens of the United States enjoy many freedoms that are not available to everyone else in the world. So with these rights also come important responsibilities, so all citizens living in the United States can enjoy the benefits of liberty under the law. So there's a lot of things that you could be doing. Now, I know y'all are only like 8 years old, 9 years old, so it's going to be a long time till you can register to vote. But the best thing you can do right now is obey laws. You can check out of our government, see, are we doing things correctly? You don't have to register to vote. It's a good idea. You don't have to volunteer, but again, you've got to think about what is best for the common good. What can I be doing for others right now? A lot of this is up to your parents right now, so you've got to say, what can I do right now? And if you start practicing being a good citizen with just following the rules in your classroom, making sure that, you are voicing your opinion, that's going to make you a better citizen one day, just like the introduction video said before, okay? So what we're going to do today is, again, I want to, extend your learning. So what you're going to do today, let's see, is you are going to read Social Studies Weekly, week 23. And again, you're going to read about how to be an active citizen. So again, it's going to go over some of the same thing. Make your voice heard. Those are your opinions. Organizations, volunteer to help. Leaders work for us. So it's going to go over a couple of how to be a good citizen again. And then it's also going to give you some cool ideas about what are your responsibilities as a student. What I would really love for you today is to just think about what is being a good citizen. If I gave you a scenario, which one would be the best question? So today you're going to do the questions, are responsibilities activity? Okay, so it says you find $20 on the ground just outside the main entrance of a grocery store. You decide to, so again, what would you do? What would be you being the common good, like your actions to affect somebody else in a positive way. Okay, so you've got to think about what you would do. Okay, so you're going to answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these questions. And then I want you to answer this kind of reflection. This is going to be a really cool response for you. So once you've thought about these really easy scenarios, it says there are many things that we could do to be a good citizen. Think about your life and experiences. Who do you know is a good citizen? So you've got to think about all of those kind of roles and responsibilities we've gone over. Who might have kind of popped up in your head when we've gone over that? So who's a good citizen? And then I want you to tell me what happened. What did they do that was a good thing? Are they volunteering somewhere? Did they voice their opinion in a good way that might help something change? And then I want you to tell that person the story and explain why it shows them being a good citizen. Say, hey, Mom, I thought you were a good citizen here because of this. And I want you to explain to them. So that's also you reflecting on how to be a good citizen, but you're also telling them you're learning for today, all right? So again, you're answering these 5 questions and then the reflection question at the bottom, okay? You are going to post your answers under the discussion board, all right? Y'all had an awesome day of learning today, okay? All right, y'all have a good day, all right?